Some boxes aren't puzzles so much as invitations. Small, deliberate acts that ask what you're willing to give up in exchange for feeling something again. They promise sensation, transcendence, escape, but never bother to clarify the cost. What begins as curiosity hardens into compulsion, and the line between desire and punishment erodes until pain feels earned, even necessary. In stories like this, the true horror isn't what waits on the other side of the door, but the quiet human instincts to keep turning the key long after we understand exactly what it unlocks. Hello friends, and welcome back to ETF. I've always believed that Hellraiser isn't really about the monsters. The hooks, the chains, the flayed skin, those are just the language it uses. What it's actually about is what happens when desire goes unchecked, when pain is no longer something we endure, but something we chase. That's why watching Hulu's reimagining of Hellraiser felt less like revisiting a franchise, and more like reopening a wound I thought had scarred over. For years, Hellraiser had become something sad, a once profound horror reduced to contractual obligations and hollow iconography. Pinhead lingered, but the ideas didn't. The franchise stopped asking anything of its audience beyond recognition. So I went into the 2022 film guarded, expecting another lifeless echo of better work. It honestly took me a long time to actually sit down and watch it. Instead, what I found was something unexpected. A version of Hellraiser that remembered why the box mattered in the first place. What struck me almost immediately was how personal the horror felt. This wasn't a story about someone stumbling into evil by accident. Riley's relationship with the lament configuration mirrors something painfully human. The way self-destruction often disguises itself as curiosity, or even necessity. Her addiction isn't a subplot or a token flaw. It's the emotional engine of the film. Watching her manipulate the box felt disturbingly familiar, like watching someone pick at a scab they know will bleed. There's no grand villain pulling the strings here. The horror comes from choice, from compulsion, from the quiet belief that maybe this time it'll be different. And of course from the Leviathan, we can't argue that fact. That's where this reimagining earned my trust. It understands that Hellraiser works best when damnation feels earned, not as punishment, but as consequence. The box doesn't trick Riley. It doesn't lie. It simply responds. In that way, the Cenobites feel less antagonistic, and more like manifestations of something internal. The moment when pain stops being something you fear, and becomes something you accept as deserved. In a world where algorithms decide what's remembered, there's still a corner of the internet fighting to feel cinema. Here at Embrace the Film, movies aren't just reviewed, they're dissected, felt, and understood. Where cult oddities, forgotten VHS nightmares, art house meditations, and studio giants are all given the same thing: time, psychological depth, and respect. If you believe film is more than background noise, if you believe movies shape who we are, if you believe physical media still matters, you can help keep this space alive. Over on Ko-Fi, you can support the channel in whatever way makes sense for you. Drop a single tip, the cost of a cup of coffee, or less. No pressure, no tears required. Just a simple way to say, keep going. Become a reoccurring supporter and help fuel deeper dives, better production, and more ambitious projects. Predictable support means more consistent content, and bigger ideas brought to life. And because support should feel meaningful, there are rewards. Gain early access to upcoming content, exclusive members-only videos, deeper psychological essays, and more. Curated physical media pulled straight from the ETF archive in monthly mystery boxes delivered to you. Want your film covered on the channel and moved up the list? Supporters can fast-track reviews of specific titles, and more evolving perks as the channel grows. Every tip helps fund physical media acquisitions, research and writing time, production upgrades, and the continued excavation and preservation of forgotten cinema. This channel exists because of passion, but it grows because of community. If Embrace the Film has ever helped you see a movie differently, if it has introduced you to something strange, beautiful, or unforgettable, if it's reminded you why you fell in love with movies in the first place, consider supporting on Ko-Fi using the link in the description. Help keep physical media alive. Help keep psychological film analysis thriving. Help keep cinema personal. And as always, keep embracing film. Jamie Clayton's Hell Priest reinforces that shift beautifully. This version of Pinhead doesn't posture or grandstand. There's a calm, almost reverent stillness to her presence, as if she's not judging humanity so much as observing it. Watching her, I didn't feel threatened. I felt seen. That restraint brings the character closer to Barker's original vision than many louder, more theatrical sequels have managed. The Cenobites aren't sadists here. They are functionaries, and that makes them far more unsettling to me. What surprised me most, though, was how hopeful the film felt. Not in tone, but in implication. For the first time in decades, Hellraiser doesn't feel embarrassed by its own ideas. It leans into the philosophy of pain and desire, instead of sanding it down for mass appeal. It trusts that audiences can handle ambiguity, moral discomfort, and endings that don't offer easy absolution. Watching it, I felt that rare sense that a franchise has stopped chasing relevance and started chasing meaning again. This version of Hellraiser doesn't pretend to replace what came before. It doesn't need to. What it does instead is remind why the property mattered at all, because it dared to suggest that the scariest hell isn't one you fall into, it's one you build, piece by piece, while convincing yourself you're in control. When the film ended, I didn't feel the usual exhaustion that comes with modern reboots. I felt something closer to anticipation, like the box had finally been reset, not as a relic, but as an invitation. If this is the direction Hellraiser is willing to go, inward, uncomfortable, psychologically raw, then for the first time in a long time, I actually want to see what happens when someone inevitably opens it again. Well, friends, that's gonna be all for now. If you are interested in this film, I urge you to check it out for yourself and formulate your own thoughts and opinions about it. I hope you come share those thoughts and opinions in the comments. Let me know if there are any movies that you would like to see discussed on this channel. I always love to hear from you guys, and I do my best to try and respond to everyone. As always, I've put a link down in the description to a physical copy of this film, if one exists, that you can add to your collection. Using that link helps out the channel, and that's always appreciated. If you like this video, I urge you to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you aren't already. I know that some of you watching aren't subscribed, so help out the channel and subscribe. If you'd like to go the extra mile and support the channel even more, we do have a couple options for you to do so. You can join us on Patreon, where you can get yourself early access to future videos, Patreon exclusive content, and access to the ETF Digital Archive. We get a lot of compliments about the VHS collection that you guys see in the background of our videos. Well, we've been hard at work slowly digitizing the collection and creating a place where we can share it with all of you. Thanks to the help of the Plex platform, we can now do just that. This is our way of doing our part in helping preserve that gritty, nostalgic VHS look and feeling before it's gone forever. With Plex, you can stream our VHS collection from anywhere at any time. It's basically like having a streaming service for VHS, which I think is pretty cool. Additionally, if you're tired of adding to your growing list of monthly subscriptions, you can help support the channel on Ko-Fi, where you can drop a single tip, the cost of a cup of coffee, or less. No pressure, no tiers required. But with all of the same monthly benefits that you will find on Patreon offered as well. We also have a Mercari store where you can go and get yourself a little piece of the ETF archive. While collecting VHS, Blu-rays, and DVDs over many years, we wind up with lots of duplicates, and we unfortunately can't store them all. So on our Mercari shop, we have all of those for sale. Purchasing those not only expands your collection, but makes room for us to expand ours. All the links for everything are down in the description. Until next time, stay safe. And as always, thanks for watching.